you still should have a heavy influence and role in their education, right? When your kids come home with homework, who helps them with it? You do. When something goes wrong with your child and they need testing, who? Hey YouTube, it's been a minute, okay? I apologize. But my goal is to show up for you guys a lot more consistently. But I want to do this video and I want to talk about why I say homeschooling is parenting, no matter how you look at it. Even if your kids is in charter school, private school, public school, you still should have a heavy influence and role in their education, right? When your kids come home with homework, who helps them with it? You do. When something goes wrong with your child and they need testing, who do they have to get approval from? You. When your child needs extra care or attention, who has to do it? You. The teachers are there to educate them. They can't make any moves without consulting with you. So as a parent, you got to go to PTA meetings. You have to help with homework. You have to make sure your child stays on track. They're not getting behind. See, this is why we have so many kids that are not reading at a grade level, because parents are relying 1,000% on the school district to do it. Now, you will get that person that says, then what is their job? Their job is to teach the curriculum that they're assigned to teach. But their job is not to teach your child management of emotions, how to maintain their behavior when they're at an institution such as a school public system that is created to make workers and not successful entrepreneurs or people who can think for themselves. The school system is a resource. It is a business. The teachers are clocked in. When they go home, they go home. They're not thinking about your children because they have a family themselves. So when you say what is their job, it's to teach, but it's not to do the extra work. All they can do is say, hey, your child has a learning disability. You need to get them tested. You will have some teachers that go over and beyond. Okay, cool. But you're still responsible for getting your child tested, getting them looked at to see if you can support them. Do they have behavior issues? Did you prep your child for kindergarten? Did you prep them for first grade? You're supposed to prep your child for each grade. You're not supposed to just throw them in the school and expect them to really just get with the program. That's not how life works, especially if you have not been doing the work at all. The first 7 years is critical. That's where you create habits, routines, and get your kids understanding that learning is a necessity and not a want or a need, right? I mean, not a want. So learning should become second nature to your child, because for the first 7 years, that's the habits that you created. Your child, the habits that you put in your child will show up as they get older. A lot of parents don't want to be responsible for that. And I get it. It's a hard pill to swallow. Your child should have a routine. They should know how to manage their emotions and be able to sit in a classroom such as a school system if you're not going to homeschool them. So the first 7 years or 5 years, because your kids typically start kindergarten, but I say 7 because even with them in kindergarten, you can start teaching them how to maintain classroom behavior as a parent. That means working side by side with the teacher, not putting everything off on her when she has 20 other students. See, these be the same parents that have multiple kids that say, well, I have multiple kids. I can't maintain all of that. But yet you expect a teacher to maintain your child with over 20 something kids. It's not fair and it's contradicting. So as a parent, you work side by side with a teacher. You prep your child for school. You make sure that your child understands that there's rules, there's laws that you have to follow. Mommy and daddy have the same rules too. We have rules in life too. We can't just be around here doing whatever we want to do. So when mommy sends you to this school, you have to follow the rules or there's consequences. And then that goes back to, did your child ever have consequences with you? And I'm not talking about abusing them, such as spankings and things like that. I'm talking about consequences such as blackouts on the games, Did you have a consequence as a parent when you would lie to your child and say, oh, I'm going to take you to the park, and you never do? Did you have a consequence? Most likely not, because parents don't think when they lie to their child about little things like that it's a big deal and you should have a consequence. These things are taught early on. So if you're not prepping your child to go into a system, an institution that is designed to teach them to be 9-to-5 workers, then why do you expect a teacher to do it with 25 when you can't even do it with 1? So here on this page, I'm a homeschool mom of 3. And I don't just talk curriculum, because your curriculum starts with self-esteem, confidence, critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, how to build relationships, which is social studies, right? Teaching your children about social studies and how to interact with other cultures. This stuff starts at home. So whether you think you're not homeschooling or not, you are. Whether it's part-time or full-time. The difference between me and you is your kid might go to a charter school, a private school, a public school. My kid go to an online homeschooling program. So all I did was pull them out and replace it with an online program. And I've been teaching my kids. So I've been educating. I've been talking to them. I've been heavily involved. So the only difference between you and I is I just get more time with my children because they're not inside of an institution like a public school, charter school, or private school. And I don't care if you're paying for it, you go to a charter school, they're all institutions to me. There's no difference between the two, between the 3, except classrooms smaller. Classrooms are much smaller, where the teachers can actually interact with your child a lot more. But can't nobody teach your child better than you can. So as a homeschool mom for 3 years, and my kids went to public school, I have the best of both worlds. And what I've experienced is I'm doing it anyway. I was at the school volunteering twice a week. I was making sure I was emailing the teachers so that they know that I'm here for them. What do my kid need? What type of homework are they doing? I would sit in on the classrooms to understand how the teacher learning style was so that I knew what my child was learning at school. I was still heavily involved. So the only thing I can say that I benefit, well, it's not the only thing, but the most greatest thing I say is I bought back my time for my children. I'm sending my kids to school for 6-8 hours to do what I'm doing at home anyway when they come home, to do what I've been doing since they were kids, babies, toddlers, infants. I've been teaching my kids cognitive thinking, problem solving, social skills. They don't get social skills in school. They don't get how to understand their Black culture in school. They don't get that type of information. So I still have to give it to them. And I'm still educating them. So why not just pull them and do it myself full time? So as a parent, I want y'all to look at it differently. This is why homeschool moms and parents that send their kids to school try to separate the homeschooling from the public school parents so bad, because we have to understand that we are all still doing this regardless. The only difference is the school is a resource. So you're using it to teach your child math, English, science, and all the things. It's a resource that can help you parent along the way. Give them what they need along the way. But that does not give you permission to relinquish leadership over your child. That does not give you permission to not be involved. That does not give you permission to not take care of yourself as well. We'll talk about that. Morning routines are important. You waking up, making sure that you take care of yourself first and not just around here on autopilot, helps you parent better and be more available to your children. Most of you are not available because you're working double jobs. You're single moms because I guess the world doesn't honor marriage and relationships anymore. And I'm a single mom because I'm divorced. And the reason why I'm divorced, we could talk about that in another video. I was too young to even understand how to even nurture a relationship. That's for another video for another day. But when you are not taking care of yourself and you are not in a space where you can think clearly, you will kick your kids to the curb and drop the ball on homeschooling them and teaching them and being available. But I'm here to tell you, and we're going to end off on here, your involvement in the role you play determines how successful your child turn out. Subscribe for more.